Hello everybody, welcome back to Let's Play Hearts of Iron 4, the New Order as the Black Army. Let's continue on from where we last left off. So, we'll improve our agriculture for now. Treasure! Our men have crushed the enemy. What do we find? 75 political power. I will take it. Apparently that's treasure. Let's train up new workers. Seems like an okay choice for us. You'll be voted on for 2 days. That's just going to give us an extra military factory, which is nice. And when you are done tomorrow, we're going to vote for not enforcing Black Army discipline. We'll go for militia reliance, 1,000 man. I mean, 1,000 manpower wouldn't be bad. But we want to empower the communes, because I want the 150 political power. And also stability is pretty good. So vote on you. Of course, you're already opposing it. 150 rifles. I have a lot of rifles. There you go. You can take the guns for now. And after that, we have a lot of power. Let's go for capacity and efficiency. Yeah, 55 on you seems okay. We can actually go for multiple of these at the same time. So we now have low discontent. We might want to decrease that in a moment. I mean, is it growing at all? It does not build within the population. Okay. So even though there's low discontent, I'm sure it doesn't really matter until you get, well, like, probably like 25-ish. Like, if we want to keep it at low, that's okay. Yeah, I mean, this is good for until November, actually, of next year. It really actually lasts that long. 720 days. I mean, that is pretty good. And the military factory, of course, is nice. And we should be able to build up everything that we at least need. Yes, we're getting our rifles, we're getting support equipment, we're getting artillery, anti-tank. All of that is going quite well. Increase factory capacity by 7.5%. We can repair the Trans-Siberian Railway, which probably wouldn't actually be a bad idea. Getting all of this would be good as well. Let's then return to the mines. Actually gets us a lot of resources, which we might need in the future. In the fields, the mother clutched her baby, quote-unquote, who was most likely in her mid-20s, tightly in her arms. Comrades, I come here. I'll stop you right there. You are well aware that the people have cast out comrade from their tongue. Glass left scowl from atop the bench. I'm not here to discuss your name, companion, the woman hissed. I'm here because my son was informed that his services were required in the army. Spring on the opportunity to speak before Goslav, Stepnov questioned. Where is the problem here? Our goal is cooperation. That means everyone does their part in defending the free land we cherish. My son is not a fighter. My boy is scrawny as all hell. He does his part in his factories. He makes the tractors and the food ends up on your plate. And it seems to me by looking at you that you've benefited from his labor. Goslav stifled a laugh, prompting a scowl from Stepnov. I believe you've heard enough. This is not the first time this has been brought to our attention. It seems the issue of factories left abandoned is a more common issue than we once thought. Gain plus 5%. 2,500 manpower. I'm going to go with we toil in the fields of grain. I do need the manpower, but 2,500 really is not going to make a big difference. We're probably going to get more manpower just by conquering areas and using our ability to core them. So we should, I mean, do I need even steel? We want to look at trade. We have a lot of steel, we have a lot of tungsten, but I guess getting more of it's not bad. It's some of the stuff we're using the most. And we'll also get more resource gain efficiency. We're not gaining any aluminum, though. And aluminum is one of those things that we do need. We do actually have 40 oil, so we should be fine on oil for a long, long time. Base gain 48, daily gain of 1,000. Yes, we can actually probably even field an Air Force if we want to. Which wouldn't actually be a bad idea. Let's go into production. Let's at least go for... I mean, do you guys have aircraft? 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. So no, none of you have any planes. So if that's the case, we're going to go immediately for close air support. Decrease you by 1 for now. We do need more aluminum and rubber, which of course we do not have. Nascent industrial base, lack of resources, negative 20%. But again, any amount of aircraft will benefit us. Because again, the enemy doesn't really have a way to counteract our Air Force. Which is nice for us. Okay, one more military factory, which would be nice as well. I think we're just going to go probably for like all of these industry techs for infrastructure, base stability. 100 political power isn't bad. But we want to probably, let's repair the Trans-Siberian Railroad. Even though, I mean, the railroad's only going to be like 2 provinces wide. But that's okay. Don't worry about that too much. You mean, really? I mean, World War II ended, I think, like 20 years ago at this point. You haven't fixed this goddamn railroad? Kind of embarrassing, I would say. Is there anybody in charge of here yet? Yes, you guys are now conservative democracy. Germany does still exist, which is not great. You're going to give them arms, which I'm assuming is for... You're recognizing the Republic of India. Which makes sense. You are not the Japanese government of India. It does make, of course, Japan and the United States hate each other a little bit more. There's also the theoretical possibility that, like, Japan and America go to war and nuke the world, which would be great. Like, there's the possibility that our campaign ends because of everyone else around us. Which would be kind of funny, I will admit. Factory output minus 50%. I still think that's kind of okay. I still think they're scavenging for loot over and over and over again and upgrading all these little things probably do benefit us. I'm not too sure how much they benefit us, to be quite honest. But I'm sure they do add some... Okay. Madagascar is having their civil war. So we've gotten you. 1960? Yeah, let's go for another level of industrial base. I know it's going to take 215 days. But it's by far probably the best thing we have. Let's prepare another raid against you, because you actually have loot. As far as I can tell, nobody has started to try to raid us. Maybe because we are... relatively powerful. Okay, so the Japanese stock market has collapsed. The bombed out rails. We move on to the motion brought forth by Companion Speknov regarding a rail that stretched from Moscow to Vladivostok, or rather, the rail that once could take a man across the entirety of Russia. Companion Ilovich crosses the motion of his agenda. The session was already going relatively smooth. Talk about trains would surely be no more than an invitation for the senior members to drift off to sleep. Companion Stepnov, you are solely recognized. The general adjusted his cap, rose to his seat. I'm well aware we've got quite an extensive agenda before us today, so I'll make this brief. It was brought to my attention that motion 271, a motion to decide the future of Sweden Rail, was never concluded. For good goddamn reason, interjected Glaskov. The motion, if you weren't aware, companions, is to repurpose the railroads for our own use. Glaskov pointed, proud of his point, looked around the room, ready to see if his companions saw an agreement, but was instead met with quizzical looks. Do you not see the issue here? The rail is a product of the Tsar's regime, built off the exploitation of political prisoners and slaves. Would it not be best for us to honor the memory of those who died by using the rail for liberation, Counselor Spanov? Expanding the tracks would be an instrument for liberation. Glaskov, always one had last word, began to speak, but was mercifully cut off by Ilslitz. Your points are recognized by the body. In the name of brevity, we'll move on to vote on motion 271. Yeah, let's go. The motion passes. Our consumer goods factory goes up by 2.5%. But I think consumer goods right now is already... Yeah, it's at 17. How do you 12? How do you have 6 million factories? I don't know, but I'm not going to argue about it. I'll take 6 million factories. It's going to increase our industrial capacity a ton. Followed up with even more infrastructure. The infrastructure is going to be good. It allows us probably to get more resources. I think. Does Heartland 4, or do they change that? I don't know. Either way, our troops will be able to move faster. We'll get more supplies, so we're, even in the middle of the Russian winter, we're not going to be looking too bad. Yeah, we'll initiate a raid against you. Follow that up with... Consumer Good Factory by... 7.5% is quite a lot. I'm actually going to... Yeah, 7.5% is a lot. Follow that up by... We can get it probably down to 0%. Honestly, we're going to double down on that. We might even get this down to 0, honestly, once those are finished. Yep, there we go. Fantastic. They have refused tribute, so once again, we are just going to shoot them. And we should be able to shoot them without too much of a problem. Okay, you're going to come in here to try and reinforce. We have some orange army units coming over here as well. Like, we shouldn't lose, I think. We can't really do anything with you. What happened to my general? I think it automatically assigns him because he's the best leader for this operation. Okay. So I've noticed that I mean, do I have any aircraft yet? Do I have an airport? I don't have an airport. You know what? That's not great. After that, we'll want to go for a single air base. Just here, I think, seems okay. Because you'll be done on the 20th of May. With a free territory and trusting increasing power to the communes, the Black Army is taking a backseat to leadership of the Siberian people. There's going to be another 15 political power lost, but that's okay. Still low. Go back down to non-existent. I mean, we took down a 15% for a +5. So overall, we're still down 10%. You guys are still fighting it out. I mean, we're losing some troops here. We might actually lose this raid, unfortunately. Which is not what I want. The Black Spring has still not appeared yet. So we do see that you guys, I think, have 3 divisions then. You know you have 2 to 4. I see 3 right now. Okay, we're back at +50. We have more units arriving in here. Problem is that this is actually, like, not a great battle for us. How much manpower we lost? 1.18k. That's actually really bad. The King of Egypt has passed. The raid has failed. Which sucks. Really bad, actually. So, next time we'll make sure we have all our troops in position before we try to do the raid. But that really was not what I wanted. How much manpower am I missing now, then? Now you go over here. Again, let's go for our Field Marshal. 26. I think I lost like 3,000. Yeah, like 2,000 manpower in that one fight. Absolutely was not worth it, including the extra minus 25%. Is not what we wanted. Education. Let's go for more academic. I think seems okay. Yeah, unfortunately I did fail the raid. So, I mean, you know, it's good to know for the future. Once you get 25 political power, though, I think we want to then... Emergency conscription, I'm assuming it's going to increase the despotism a little bit. 1,200 manpower. War support. I mean, getting 1,000 manpower would probably be pretty good. Is there anything that gives more than 1,000? $1,200 for you, 450 for you. Why would I want to go for the 450 when there's 1,000 at the same time? I feel like that's a little bit of a weird choice. We also have an extra military factory. Let's use that then on probably more planes. It seems like an okay choice. Also, I did notice that we now... it's in trade. Yeah, we now have aluminum. I don't know where we got the aluminum from. I won't complain about it. But I just don't know where it came from. Oh, no. It's 12 aluminum and cats. Oh, no. That's actually fantastic, then. Oh, beautiful. For some reason, I thought that was tungsten. We've actually improved things quite significantly. We'll go for, of course, the next level of research as well. The 1961. Seems good for us. And we should be getting close to... Oh, the Black Spring's already ready. So once you're done, we'll go for Black Spring. It'll be done in 10 more days. We'll resume the liberation of Central Siberia from its occupiers. 10% war support. Like, we can kill any of you pretty easily on. We'll move our troops down towards the south. Because they only have 3 divisions. It shouldn't be too difficult. I do know we have planes and reserves. I don't have an airport yet. Which is a problem. I think we also have lost a civilian factory. Oh, we're getting some from trade. Okay, that actually makes perfect sense. Never mind. That's where we're getting our extra factory tiers from. So you'll be done in like 4 more days. And then the airport shouldn't take that long to build. Of course, we're going to go for a Black Spring. The corrections made. The legacy of Nicola Bakurin can be boiled down to the 3 views, depending on who and where you were to ask. One may say that Bakarin was a hero, a man that took up arms against the Tsar, answering the call of the motherland, and valiantly returning back to his birthplace in a time of need. Using a position to elevate the cause of the workers into the mainstream, some would say that Bukharin had only noble intentions, seeking to bring the Austrian-forgetting territories of Russia on par with the rest of the ambitious Siberian plan. Another would tell you that Bukharin betrayed his ideals of revolution, sensing an opportunity for power and slinking back into Russia, out from its hiding in America, where he lived a privileged life of bourgeois decadence. Upon his arrival, Bukharin molded the works of Lenin into his own image, making the increasing of his power the #1 priority. The Siberian plan was not a gift in any sense of word, yet another curse, more exploitation, the same story of despots turning people into pawns, laborers, into mere drones, and to do the bidding of the increased status of their wealth. Some would rant and rave about the Judo-Bolshevik menace that came to Russia from the heartland of Jewry, America, and came to Russia to impose the will of Zion, breaking down centuries of tradition and culture, wiping away with a single bullet the head of the Tsar. In the eyes of these men, the Siberian plan was nothing more than an extension of the pre-existing conspiracy established by the Red Army. We've challenged these narrative visions. One cannot judge the Siberian plan on the basis of good or bad. The plan is just as Russia is today, fractured. Russia will pick up the pieces, picking out the best piece of the plan, and rejuvenate a program to accomplish what was promised, a plan for the people. So, I mean, that also seems pretty good. We can say 70% stability right now, which I think is nice for us. Factory output, organization, our mobilization speed, recruitment population factor is not great. The command power doesn't matter so much because we don't really have that many units to use. Honestly, I'm going to go for a third plane. We're only making 1 per month, but again, I don't think there's any way for these guys to actually shoot down our aircraft. So even 1 plane a month is okay. I'm even thinking if maybe I want to even reduce you down to 1 more to get a little bit more aircraft. Because right now, no, we actually don't have enough aluminum for that to be effective. So we'll do it this way then instead. We're still missing the rubber, which is a negative 10% debuff. But I think everything's okay. You've declared war on you. Okay. I mean, that worries me a little bit because it does signify that hopefully nobody declares war on us. We'll also have you just right now maintain your network at 100%. 100% I would say is pretty good for you. State of America has declared war on the all-Russian government, which is fine. Who's winning down here, by the way? It looks like the Jewish movement in Madagascar will probably win their war, which is okay. 19 political power. Can't do anything, I think, until we have 25. And once we do that, I want to probably vote on increasing militia support. So we got Black Spring. Follow that up by the final preparations, 21 days. And hopefully by the end of this episode, we'll be able to actually invade you. That would be nice. The Prime Minister of Thailand has unfortunately died. Is it unfortunate? No, they're in the Japanese sphere, so it's kind of completely okay if they die. Does not matter to me at all. We can scavenge for more loot, but I think right now I don't actually want the factory output debuff. I want to get these guys building as fast as humanly possible. Still no rubber, but I mean, I can't really import it. Maybe I could build a do we have the fuel silo, synthetic refinery? You know what? 14,000 cost though is very expensive. It's actually incredibly expensive. 30,000 for a nuclear reactor, which you have no real interest in pursuing. So I'm a little bit worried about that. Tomsk, you're going to fight against him. It makes my life easier. And of course, we're going to go for you. Of course, you are... Yeah, you can have $1 million. That's fine. I still can't even click this button yet, so, I mean, we just have $1 million in debt. But that shouldn't matter so much. You're now the Prime Minister of Thailand. So, I'm assuming Japan, of course, is still... Yeah, so the Conservative Party is in charge here. With our 2 political power. We should win our vote here no matter what. For an extra 1,000 manpower, which would be nice. We do need, like, an extra, what, 10,000? It'll take a lot of votes to make this what we need. But we'll declare war on you. We already got our plan in motion. And I'm looking at this. I see 2 cities. No, I see 3 cities, actually, which we can probably actually win pretty easily. Gearing up. For years, it had been customary for the Black Army, for disembarking on their patrols, to share their justification on why they rode. Why they, the people, could just get along just fine if simple farm folk took up arms. The meeting for the gate of Kansk was not typical, far from it. Usually, squads would depart in intervals. One pack of hairy men would arrive, their eyes alive with joy. They speak their praises of the Black Army in the assembly before hopping into their vehicles and disappearing over the horizon. One squad could not handle the task before them today. The goal was simple. Bring down the military cliques pleading for its life with the promise of reform heading by Andreev. To most, it was sickening. Just to the west was a man convulsing in agony, beaten and broken at the behest of dictator for simply not meeting a quota. Many within the hordes of the Black Army could share the same story. One doesn't know he is enslaved until he feels the tug of the chains. Commanded Goshlov as he spoke before the assembly army. It's far too easy to become blinded by the tricks of despots, and for that, I do not blame the common man. Where are we all decades ago? Servants of a union, of a people, at last the workers of the state, willing to empower them and have opportunity. Well, that wasn't the case, was it? The only people served by the union were those in the Presidium. We will no longer bear witness to the circus of generals awaiting their turn to be the savior of Russia. The crowded town square erupted in cheers of crying tyranny. Take up your arms. Today we embark on a long and arduous journey to the long-awaited funeral of exploitation. The army rendered a little bit more than a raving mod by oration. Hoisted their weapons into the air one by one, squads onto their vehicles and set for the west to Kresland. We get planning speed, max planning, the 10% attack for 50 days. And it's time for us to go 17 days. Also, a 10% boost is pretty good. Really? You are declaring war on this guy? By the way, do you, I mean, if you're fighting a different war, I'm going to annex all this region myself. Because I'm probably going to take over every single victory point. How many troops do you guys have? 4 to 6 as well? Yes, we'll see kind of what you're actually moving into this territory. If you were to actually annex this guy, that makes my life 1,000 times easier. If you annex him, I can annex this whole region in one fell swoop. I'm wondering, though, does this get bypassed if this guy doesn't exist anymore? I don't know. It still does a trial event, which doesn't actually make a ton of sense, considering he probably wouldn't exist at that point. What are you? You are prepared to raid against the council. I don't think we want to do that. So we're going to be going to war very, very soon. And by very soon, I do mean in 3 more days. You're also falling back. I just don't want you to take the victory points. I need those victory points myself, please and thank you. And we've declared war upon you. Let's send our troops over the border. You're gonna rush the cap. No. You go here, you go here. You're, of course, gonna go to the capital. You're gonna go to this city, followed by that. And we should have a pretty easy war. Okay, you're at 95. You've won your battle here. But I think once I take over this region, it shouldn't be too much of a problem. And of course, we can't do this until we've actually already won the war. Armor technology. You know what? Let's do one infrastructure for roads of grain. Okay, you guys are moving into this territory. Kemerovo, unfortunately, does not look like it's going to fall to these guys. And the Krench Railway Junction captured. Crashing through the forested mountains surrounding the city, our men have overrun the city of Kranjsk. And with it, we have taken a widely discussed Kranjsk Railway Junction. The tall and mighty station building stretched across the urban space and dominated our soldier view. It was a logical fortress, stuffed with the bulky metal trains resting on the platforms. With the crucial junction of the Trans-Siberian Railway now under our control, we can now more vastly improve our logistical abilities, performing the Herculean task of reuniting Russia. Piling keys of ammunition, cash, and supply crates onto the trains, we can deliver these resources to our frontier far more effectively, as well as increase the speed in which communications can be delivered. Our grasp over the railway junction will stretch the influence over Siberia, and the speed extending power to reunite on our watch. So division speed, supply consumption, and construction speed, all those are pretty good. And of course, I have won the war with no real problems whatsoever. So thank you for that. But after that, I mean, we could attack you next, so I think it's probably what we're going to do. You're supporting our options. But I think, scavenge for loot, prepare a raid. Can I core this land? Or is it already core? No, it's an occupied state at the moment. But you're actually significantly bigger than all of this territory. But I do think it's going to be a good time right now for us to end this episode. So thanks everybody for watching. My name is If you've enjoyed, run a thumbs up. Not enjoyed, throw a thumb down. You want to see more, subscribe, and goodbye.